Hey team, and welcome to the 5-minute guide for Outlaw Rogue. The Outlaw Rogue is an extremely simple, fast-paced AoE and cleave machine, which also happens to be a swashbuckling pirate legend, making use of pistols and grappling hooks to quickly traverse the battlefield and engage its enemy from afar. It excels at heavy cleave and AoE with the notorious Blade Flurry, decimating large groups of enemies in a single sweep. There is currently one talent build for the Outlaw Rogue for both raids and dungeons. It works to enhance our general combat ability, providing us with more frequent finishes through talents like Alacrity and Vigor, and better AoE through talents like Dancing Steel and Acrobatic Strikes. Outlaw works around dealing pure AoE damage and getting as many finishes out in the shortest amount of time possible. This is made easier through our passives such as Ruthlessness and Restless Blades, which return combo points and reduce the cooldown of a number of our abilities. Unlike a lot of other DPS specs, Outlaw doesn't really revolve around a single passive, combo, or cooldown. Rather, it relies on just that, reliability. Its ability to deal consistently high AoE damage at a moment's notice without really requiring anything to be prepared is its strength, and why it is so powerful in dungeons. It does, however, have quite a crucial ability that isn't really as straightforward as it seems: Roll the Bones. Roll the Bones is a pretty RNG based ability and has to be used quite specifically to be most efficient. With this ability, you can get 1 to 5 of 6 different buffs. Ruthless Precision, giving us 20% crit chance and 40% crit chance on Between the Eyes. Grand Melee, giving us 55% attack speed and 25% leech. Broadside, causing our generators to generate 1 more combo point and deal 20% increased damage. Skull and Crossbones, causing our Sinister Strike to have a 30% chance of dealing damage twice and generating 2 combo points. Buried Treasure, increasing our energy regen by 4 per second, and True Bearing, doubling the strength of our Restless Blades passive. So, how do we know which buffs to keep and which to reroll? There is a priority list for the buffs, but the general rule of thumb is to keep these 2 if they're alone, or keep any if you get more than 1. Now that we've gone over the core of the spec, we can start to talk about the AoE and the single target rotations for Outlaw. In single target fights, we want to start with Roll the Bones, casting at 4 to 5 combo points, following the rules I set out before until you either have 1 of the 2 good buffs or you have 2 or more buffs, making sure that you don't activate Adrenaline Rush until you have the buffs that you want. After that, we simply generate combo points with Sinister Strike, casting Pistol Shot when we get a proc, spending our combo points on Dispatch when we hit 5, trying our best not to overcap on energy or combo points. There's a bit of a special case for Between the Eyes. None of our Roll the Bones buffs change the way we play the spec, apart from one. We want to be using Between the Eyes on cooldown if we have Ruthless Precision active from Roll the Bones, or if we have either of these 2 traits on our gear. Remember to refresh Roll the Bones at any point below 10 seconds remaining. Make a judgment call on how good your current buffs are, and decide whether or not you want to leave them till the very end before refreshing. AoE is largely the same as single target for Outlaw, and this is due to one of the most potent abilities in the game currently, Blade Flurry. Blade Flurry makes all of our single target abilities hit everything in an AoE, extended by Acrobatic Strikes. This thing is bloody OP. Pop it when there is more than 1 target nearby. The only thing you have to pay attention to for good AoE as Outlaw is your remaining charges of this ability. It's very important that you have this up for a big AoE pool, and especially important that you have it up for reaping. It will be the difference between 10k DPS and 60k by itself. Now let's go over what we should be focusing on when we pull. As mentioned before, we want to cast Roll the Bones over and over until we get either the crit buff, the attack speed buff, or any combination of 2 or more buffs. After we have them locked in, we want to pop Adrenaline Rush and proceed to get as many 5 combo point finishes off as we can, going in between Sinister Strike and Dispatch as required. Remembering to use Between the Eyes if you get the crit buff, or if your Azerite traits are as mentioned earlier. It's as simple as that. You can use Vanish to do an ambush, but it isn't hugely important to our overall damage. Before we close up the guide, I want to mention one of our utility abilities, which is especially strong in Mythic Plus currently. It's so powerful in fact that it can be the reason that rogues are picked by itself. Shroud of Concealment. This ability allows the rogue to stealth its entire party for 15 seconds. This, along with a keen knowledge of how the dungeons work, can save you huge amounts of time in Mythic Plus. Try to learn how to use it, your party will thank you. Anyway team, that has been the Outlaw Rogue. A simple but very powerful dungeon spec, which can, if played well, and with a little luck, carry the DPS in reaping and large pools. If you enjoyed, be sure to smash that sub button and stick around for future specs. If you want to ask a question, leave it in the comments and I'll be sure to get to it. If you want to say hi, come hang out with me and the rest of the team over at Twitch, where I'm live 6 nights a week. I hope this guide was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.